I got that red alert. Pulling up now, is you ready to go? You know.
Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 3 late night upload. So on today's upload, what we're going to be doing is about a few weeks ago I made a video talking about how to dominate and how to be unstoppable on every single game of Nuketown, and a lot of people liked that and asked me to do it for other maps. So I thought, what is the second most popular map in Black Ops 3? Most likely it's going to be Combine, and that's why I'm going to do this episode on Combine. So basically what this is I'm going to talk solely about this map and give you guys the tips and tricks and everything you need to know to be able to do well pretty much every single game on this map. Now this gameplay here, I get a nuclear, I think it's 84-2, so absolute domination here on the map Combine, and this gameplay only lasts about 8 minutes. So if this gameplay lasted about a lot longer, because I think we beat the enemies 200-60 or something like that, if this was a 200-190 game, this would have been an easy 100 plus nuclear as well. But this is a pretty good gameplay and this is perfect for what I want to talk about. So if you guys all could drop a like on this video, I'd really appreciate if you guys could show me some support. If we could smash up 2,000 likes, that would be absolutely awesome. And let's get right into the commentary talking about how to be unstoppable, how to dominate, get nuclears, get 100 kills, whatever you need to do on Combine. Let's start with it right away. So Combine is a very similar map to Nuketown, but there are also a lot of differences. Why it's similar to Nuketown is because it's a small map. It's a very similar symmetrical map, I guess you could say, if that's the right word for it. There's C, and then there's B in the middle, and then A on the other side. You know, in Call of Duty, traditionally in Domination, maps have been designed to basically be either the flags are in a straight line down the map or they're in a triangle formation, and this is one that's similar to Nuketown. They're in a straight line down the map. I guess you could say Nuketown has a slight little triangle out to B, you know, but for the main part, the flags are in a straight line down the middle of the map, and basically that's why this map is similar to Nuketown. Now there's a few differences from Nuketown on this one. There's the wall running spots. It's a bit, you know, there's not as much cover in the middle of the map as there is on Nuketown. That's a bit trickier. So let's go over these first tips I'll give you guys for Combine and how to succeed on Combine. Now the first tip and trick I have for you guys is on Combine, you really want to stay out of the middle of the map. There's really not much cover in the middle of the map, and I find that it's very dangerous. So if you're trying to stay away from the middle of the map, you're trying to pick people off from the middle of the map, you basically have two other sides you can go down. One is a wall run and the other one is a head glitch side. Now personally, I prefer to stay away from the wall run side unless it's completely clear. I think that the wall run is just a bit too risky. You know, if you hop on the wall run, another enemy hops on, sure, you might get the kill on him, but more than likely you're going to fall off, and it just is a lot riskier than the other side. The other side is basically the rock side, I guess you could say, and that side I find is where I like to play most of my games on Combine. That's how I dominate on Combine, is because as long as you peek around that corner, never run straight out into the rocks. Basically, you want to peek around the corner, make sure no one is head glitching, because on each side there's a wicked head glitch. There's a box on one side and then a rock on the other side. So that's basically what you want to watch out for. Is you don't want to get picked off by those head glitches when you're peeking that side. So basically I shimmy around the corner, make sure no one's head glitching, and then take the wall run, and usually that's my best path to get to the other side of the map. Now obviously when you have a hater up, or you know where the enemies are at, you can run through the middle. But the main thing about Combine is, like I said, stay away from the middle of the map unless you're playing with an assault rifle. If you're playing with an SMG or a shotgun, you want to take these flank routes, or not even flank routes, but these rush routes, get up in the enemy spawn and do your work there. Now the main thing about Combine is that why I like this map a lot for domination is that the spawns flip so much. Now that usually is a bad sign. I usually don't like when spawns flip so much, but the spawns are so easy to flip on this map, it equals easy capture points for domination. What that means is basically if you and your enemy push into the spawn at A, usually the enemies are always going to spawn flip out to C. Because the map is so small, the spawns are so often to flip, and I think it's even more than Nuketown on this one, because in Nuketown people will spawn in the middle of the map. In this Combine, it's basically either A or C where they spawn at, and that's basically how you, whenever the spawns flip, you can hop on the flag and get yourself a free 200 points, as well as if you have combat focus. I always love to run combat focus on this map. I think that there's no other choice, especially for domination, because when those spawns flip and you have an open and a free flag cap, you can pop that combat focus, get that free flag cap, and get the heck out of there with an extra 300 points on your belt or whatever towards your kill streaks. Now as far as kill streaks for this map, I recommend running the big three that I'm running them right here, which is obviously the Wraith, the Hater, and then the Wraps. Wraith does absolutely well in this game. It's absolutely insane how it does, especially on a map like Combine. And when you have the Wraith and the Wraps up at the same time, there's pretty much no chance they're going to have the ability to shoot down the Wraith. That's basically the only way that you could stop the Wraith. I'd say it's probably one of the best kill streaks in the game, except it's pretty easy to shoot down. But obviously if you have Wraps at their feet, they can't really, focus on shooting down your Wraith. And then obviously the Hater is very good for this map because, like I said, the spawns are going to be flipping a lot, and that's why a Hater or even a UAV can be very helpful, because you need to know when those spawn flips are happening. And even if you don't have the Hater up, eventually after playing this game a lot, you can sort of know when the spawns are going to flip. But it definitely makes it a lot easier knowing exactly where the enemies are going to spawn. And as far as a weapon choice on this map to dominate on on Combine, I definitely recommend an SMG. As you guys see here, I'm using the Kuda SMG, a pretty strong SMG, probably one of the top 3 ones. I find that assault rifles can do well on this map, but it's a lot more inconsistent. If you use these SMGs and just take those routes around the rock side, make sure it's safe, get up in the enemy spawn and maneuver through there, I find that you're pretty much guaranteed to go on some good streaks during the game, and that is the best strategy I've seen so far. If you want to play it with an assault rifle, I'd recommend the assault rifles that can also do good at close range, such as the KN44, the HVK. Those sort of assault rifles will do quite good on this map as well. I've had a ton of 100 plus gameplays and nuclears on this map using the HVK. That's one that I strongly recommend for this map as well. But basically this is one that if you play it right, and you can see here in this gameplay I'm getting close to a nuclear, which I do get. If you play it right on this map, you should be able to dominate. One set of streaks on this map, because of the easy spawn flips and because the easy points when flags are open, I think that once you get one set of streaks, this is probably the easiest map in the game to convert and to recycle your streaks on. Once I get one set of Wraps, I'm going to have that Hater up for 45 seconds. You need to capitalize on that time you have the Hater up. You need to capture every flag that you can. You guys see here that was kind of an issue as well, as I captured too many flags and it led to us triple capping and ending the game early. But if your teammates are going to capture the flags anyway, you might as well hop on it and get the points, because there's nothing you can really do about your teammates capturing the flags. And there's the nuclear right there. That's a big issue with this map, is the games can end pretty fast if you're dominating them like we were here. But still, even if it ends fast, it still ended up in a nuclear and an 84-2 gameplay from myself, which is pretty good. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video talking about how to dominate on Combine. Like I said, stick away from the middle of the map. It's usually a death trap. There's always people underground or under B. There's people on top of the tank, and I just don't find that it's safe. On a map like Nuketown, there's so many head glitches, around the bus or around the Jeep or the car, where I find that maneuvering through the middle is pretty safe, especially if you have an M8 or something like that. But on this map, the style that I prefer and that I recommend to you guys is using those flank routes, getting up in the enemy spawn and doing your work there, capturing the flag before the spawn flips, and then that's about it. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. Be sure to drop a like. I'd really appreciate if we could smash 2,000 likes on this video. That'd be absolutely awesome. If you guys made it to the end of the video, comment Combine down in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for Cookie and Don't Looky, and I'm out. Peace.